It's time for In the Paint, Part 2. Jason Horowitz alongside Bill Raftery. Glad to be with you here on CBSSports.com and all over the CBS Audience Network for Part 1, and where we talk about who will stay undefeated throughout the season, maybe, and, of course, the battle in the Pac-10. Be sure to check that out on CBSSports.com. But this is Part 2, and let's start with more of a breaking news type thing that happened on Thursday. It came out that South Carolina coach Dave Odom plans to retire at the end of the season. It's his 7th year at South Carolina. They've only been to one NCAA tournament in that time span. Are you surprised at all?
I'm not surprised because things are, by nature, the way it is. People want you in the NCAA. I think he'll coach again, though.
You do think he'll coach again?
He's a gym rat. He ran a five-star camp for Howard Garfinkel years ago. He's been around great players. Timmy Duncan comes to mind. He's been a great assistant at Virginia. Did a great job at Wake. He's a lifer. His boys are in coaching. One in college, one in high school, one at Virginia Tech, and one at Charlotte, I think, Charlotte High School. I'm not sure which is the school. But, he's just a guy that loves the game. It'll be sad to not see him as we go around the country, but hopefully he'll surface.
Well, 7 seasons, this being number 7, one NCAA tournament, but he does have 4 21 seasons.
You sound like an AD.
You want to
get rid of the guy.
No, he has done a good job. 20-plus win seasons. Let's stay in the SEC. And it's amazing that Florida has won back-to-back national titles because this is a team that nobody's talking about at all. They're 15-3, and a lot of those 15 wins aren't against good teams. Played well at Mississippi on Wednesday night. Lost by 2 points, but they certainly played well. What is it about this Florida team that is it because they're so young that maybe they're flying under the radar?
They sort of relate to Bill. I mean, they're full-court pressing. They push the ball, really much like they did at Kentucky when he was the assistant to Rick Pitino. Parsons is an outstanding young guy. Nick Calathes has a great feel for the game. I mean, he's fun to watch. Jai Lucas is a terrific guard, kid that knows how to run a team.
Are they a year away, though, Bill?
Oh, I think so. Spates is one of those he's like Horford, really big physical presence. This is really a good basketball team. Chandler Parsons knows how to play. Werner should be shooting the ball just a little bit better. He got some minutes last year. I would look for him to score more as the season progresses.
And they have another great recruiting class coming in next year as well. So, when you look at those guys, none of those guys are going to go pro after this year.
No, I don't think so.
Walter Hodges is his last year, so he may be the guy that you lose. But other than that, all those
guys...
He's
a shooter. He's a guy
but all those guys, 5-year top 6 scorers you're going to have back, plus another great recruiting class. Is next year a year where maybe we possibly see Florida back in the national championship picture?
I'm sure they think and hope, but, there's a lot of things that have to transpire. Kids have to improve in the offseason. Do they mix? Do they match? Are they unselfish? And I think my answer would be yes. I think they will be a factor because he is a great recruiter. Kids love going there. They enjoy the atmosphere. They like the style of play. It's conducive to getting back to the tournament.
All right, Eric Gordon, a different type of player, certainly one that has the ability to go pro after this year.
How about the range?
He's incredible and certainly could very well be the freshman of the year and maybe make a case for player of the year like Kevin Durant did last season. But they beat Minnesota despite...
Give me some numbers now.
I know you like. I like numbers. 26 turnovers beating Minnesota Thursday night. They still won.
Right.
How'd they do it? Is it just the inside-outside duo of Gordon and White?
How do you match up with White first? I think the experience... they out-rebounded them considerably, 40-some-odd to 26, 42 to 26, something like that. I just think they've been there before. I think that certainly helps. And yet, Tubby's got to be delighted, not in the loss, but what he's been able to do. And I think it's a little more relaxing with the maroon and gold than it is the blue and white down in Kentucky. I don't think there's as much pressure. Just an inkling.
Just a little bit. He's got some time in Minneapolis.
Right.
Are Gordon and White the best duo in the Big Ten?
Wow. That's a pretty good combo. You say Morgan and Neitzel maybe, or Morgan, that's a good combo. Yeah, right now I think that jumps out at you a little bit.
All right, let's move forward. One last topic here, and we get into Boston College because you saw them a couple weeks ago play Kansas, and they got blown out. They followed that up by losing to Robert Morris, and it was the first ever win for Robert Morris.
Why do you look down at these?
No, I'm just saying, I like Robert Morris. Robert Morris is playing great, but it's the Northeast Conference.
Someday you may want a child to go there.
It's a good school there, Robert Morris. But they're coming out, and they're still undefeated in the ACC. Explain Boston College. You've seen them in person.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much the personality of Al Skinner. Al's the kind of a guy, let's go play. Game's over, let's go play another. And I think that permeates this team. They have, Tyrese Rice, he'll walk the ball. It's sort of like Al, and then, all of a sudden he bursts or sticks a three. I just think it's their personality. This is a very talented performer. They don't look upon it as a heavy load when they lose. You know, they've got a couple of young kids. Sanders comes in now. Raheem Sanders, Corey Raji. They've got some elements there that he mixes and matches. So they don't think of it as like the end of the world when they happen to lose the game. And I think that's conducive for a team bouncing back, looking forward to the next opponent, and that's why they're successful as they have been early in the ACC.
Is Al Skinner maybe the most underrated coach in the at least on the eastern part of the United States?
I'll tell you, he's probably a coach that could care less about what you think or I think.
Well, that says a lot. I mean, that says a lot.
Yeah,
too. But he wins year in, year out.
He does.
No matter who's on his team.
I think he just does his job, goes home, enjoys his family, comes back the next day and starts over. He's got a relaxed way. It's tough to explain. There is no one that gets the ball to the elbows or the boxes like they do.
Yeah.
So you're vulnerable. And they hang tough, and they play the way he wants. So it's a nice little combination.
Yeah, and certainly it's good to see them get back because they lost a lot of guys the last couple of years, and they're still a good basketball team.
Dudley Smith. I mean, they have players of the year in the ACC.
Williams. I mean, they lost a lot of guys.
Marshall, terrific shooter.
I mean, you're talking about their best 4 players the last 2 years gone, and they're still a good team. Folks, for more of In the Paint, of course, there's part 1, and each and every week, couple episodes every single week. We'll see Bill again next week. I'm Jason Horowitz. Let's hope you enjoy all the basketball. Take care, folks.